Greetings, groovy people. This is the self-proclaimed Blue Dragon, and this week I'm doing something a little bit different. This is an Art With Me video, and I am recording the audio as I work, and I'm going to see if this works at all. If it doesn't, I probably won't do it again. I don't know, I may try it again, who knows. We'll see how it goes. But this week is Rock Lobster. I hinted last week what I was going to do. Now I am going to make an actual drawing for the Rock Lobster to go along with the Paper Tiger video that I did back in April for Earth Day. And this week I am going to do the drawing and then I'm going to transfer it onto one of these three rocks. In Springfield, Illinois, one of my good friends who still lives there says they've got like this Facebook page. I'm not really on Facebook anymore. I wasted too much time on that, and I just don't have time to mess about with that anymore. But she has started doing like this craft thing. I think the group is Springfield, Illinois Rocks, and they got their idea from Somerville Rocks on Facebook. So what I'm gonna do, what they basically do is they do artistic, like they do little paintings on rocks, and then they hide them around Springfield for people to find and collect. So she's already taken some of my stickers and like hid them around. She put like a shellac or something on it so that when it rains or if there's condensation in the morning or whatever, it won't just destroy the paper stickers that I gave her. I'm working on getting some better quality stickers, but those were kind of test ones and ones that I'm going to give away for free anyhow. So it was kind of cool of her to do that. I think she sent me a picture. I will put the picture here in the video. But what I'm going to do first is sketch out the lobster. So rock, lobster, paper tiger. And I'm still thinking about the scissors one. I think it's going to be a stork or something like that, but we'll see later on whenever I get around to it. But yeah, that's what I'm working on today. So I've got a picture that I use references a lot of times when I draw, particularly if I'm drawing something I haven't drawn before. So what I like to do, I need a ruler. I like to set out kind of approximately how big the drawing is going to be. So I think his little tail, I think 7 inches is good for at least the body. And this one, he's gonna go, his pinchers are gonna go out a little bit. I'm not very good with animals and stuff. I mean, I've been trying to improve. I draw our dogs sometimes, Jack and Julius, whenever I work on, which hasn't been for a while, but whenever I work on Whimper in the Dark, I will draw the dogs, because they're the main characters in that story. It takes a lot of time, though, because when I'm working on that comic, I mean, Dark Horse takes a lot of time, too, but I use pre-made screen tones that I got from some software packet whenever I bought some kind of manga studio thing. They gave me some free screen tones. So that is pretty, I use the same tones and I write down in my notes which ones I use for what features of the image. But with the dogs, I wanted it to be a little more like Edward Gorey, because I've always really liked his artwork. My grandma and my mom used to watch Mystery on PBS when I was a kid, and I don't know that I watched it so much. I've probably since seen a few shows. I really liked Inspector Poirot. Anything with Inspector Poirot. I really like those Agatha Christie. Is it Agatha Christie? I think that's who did it. I like some of her books. They're a little dated now, and probably at times they're a little politically incorrect. But for the time period, it was, you gotta sometimes filter some of that out. Just because someone's saying something in a book doesn't mean you have to apply it to reality. So I'm sure she's a little stereotyping Belgium people a bit, but I like the David Satchet I like the David Satchett. Inspector Poirot. I'm probably saying it wrong. I can't pronounce anything. Although I have had some people tell me that I pronounce Japanese okay occasionally. They were either being super nice to me whenever I was done giving a tour, or I actually did have good pronunciation. My instructor thought I had okay pronunciation, but every other language on the planet, you know, I can't pronounce it all. I try. I do try. But yeah, I know that recently they've just put out a remake of the Murder on the Orient Express, and I think it has Brad Pitt and like an all-star cast. And I really wanted to see that. I'm gonna have to watch it. It takes us a while to watch anything because, you know, I do this full-time. I make videos. I do the comic. I've been doing 2 parts of the comic. I'm spending an awful lot of time on this tale. This is going to be a long video, you guys, because I'm slow. I don't think I'll make it a 2-part video, though, because I don't feel like doing that this week. Sometimes the 2-part videos can be a bit of a pain in the bum. But yeah, it takes us a while to watch movies just because we're so busy whenever my dude friend isn't, you know, doing his actual work with his job, which he, oftentimes has to work overtime since there are no workers' rights in the sphere of computer work. If you step out of line, they just hire someone else or hire someone in a country where the poor people don't have any rights there either because it's cheaper, so you really ought to unionize, but that's my soapbox. But yeah, anyway, so we don't really have a lot of time is the point, so we watch stuff occasionally, but not very often. So it's been a while since we've sat down and watched a movie that wasn't like Riff Tracks, you know, because they'll like do like an hour-long show. Riff Tracks or Mystery Science Theater. We might watch some of the reruns of that. But usually we are pretty far behind. Ooh, look at this little antenna. I thought... I shouldn't say this at all, because as soon as I say it, I'm going to have to correct it. But I thought that lobsters and crustaceans, I thought they were in, like, not the same family. Like, what is it? King Paul came over for good spaghetti. In high school, our teacher, the way he had us remember kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, he would do that. King Paul came over for good, and then he would like dramatically pause, and then he'd say spaghetti. He was a little bit of a pervert, but he was funny. I mean, he wasn't like, you know, he wasn't inappropriate with the students, but I appreciated that he treated us a little bit more like adults. He was a pretty good teacher. His name was Trueblood. His last name was Trueblood. And my best friend behind his back, she didn't like him, but she would call him Honest Hemoglobin, because we were serious. Seriously, we were serious nerds, and for a lot of our high school time, we were made, well, not high school so much for me, but like in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, oh my god, was that like that was a trial over fire, because we were made fun of, you know, together. We were like the nerds. Not just nerds, like, you know, nowadays, ew, nerds are kind of cool. But we were, like, seriously made fun of, probably because I was a little greasy, dirty leg, and I was, at that point, wearing my parents' clothes, and this was, like, the late 90s, so the whole, you know, how fashion kind of comes back every few generations, like, 80s stuff is starting to come back now, and getting really popular, and I was on the front wave of the 60s coming back, because the Beatles anthology had just come out in like 96, And actually, my sister listened to it first and liked a few of the songs, but then she got out of that phase real quick and just did not like it at all. But my cousin, who was a year younger than me, and my other cousin too, Danielle was a year older than me, and Becky was a year younger than me. But Becky and I particularly, we just, because Danny and Megan were more on the alternative rock, and I mean, I liked that stuff too, but they were more into Cobain and I think the Black Hole Sun video. Whenever my sister would go over, she would take a VHS tape to her best friend's house and just record a whole day of MTV, and boy, that Black Hole Sun video was on 50 billion times. But like, they were more into like the alternative rock, and Becky and I just went hardcore into like the our Beatle phase. Holy crap. And that thing lasted to this day. So we both still love the Beatles. But yeah, so I was trying to live vicariously through my mom. So like, she found a lot of her old clothes that she wore in the late 60s and early 70s, and I started wearing those to school, because back then I was still skinny and could still fit into those clothes. And holy crap, did I get made fun of horribly, like by the older kids, boys and girls alike, which I always found it really strange that a guy would even bother to make fun of it. I mean, back then, you know, I could see girls being catty with each other, but I don't see what a guy would give a crap about. You know, that's the age where you're still trying to pretend, if, you know, that you're not interested in whoever it is you're interested in. So I don't know. Maybe they really liked it and were just being mean. That was the case with one girl. She actually really liked me, and we were in a small town. You didn't do that. In a small hillbilly town. But thank God things have changed. I'm thinking, I know Bob Ross. He can just think of things. I know he kind of tells the same anecdotes, but it's very comforting, and his voice is just so soothing. Yeah. Maybe we'll put a door in this log cabin so we can get out. He really said that one episode. Just so straight-faced. Doesn't laugh at his own. Sometimes he laughs at his own jokes. We watch Bob Ross whenever my dude friend is trying to get ready for bed, because, you know, I try to go to bed when he does, just to keep our schedules kind of the same until I'm like up until 5 or 6 in the morning, because when inspiration strikes, it's not gonna let you sleep, so you might as well be up all night and the next day. God, that's terrible for your body. I do it all the time. I'm shocked I'm not dead yet. Boy, the human body can like take a lot of stress and stuff. But yeah, my friend also was made fun of. I would even say worse than me. I'm not going to say her name out of respect, but people were vicious to her, and there really was no, I mean, you know, we both kind of fed into it a little bit, just because it's like, you know what, if you're going to make fun of me, I'm going to be as weird as I want to be, because it doesn't matter what I do, you're going to make fun of me, and why should I placate you? So we did kind of go into that, we're so weird, you know, we just embrace the weirdness. I mean, we really embrace the weirdness, and we're like, you know, screw you guys. We care, but we don't care. We pretended we didn't care. But, like, still, I mean, they were just so mean to her. And then another friend of mine moved to our school from another school, and then some girl who was a grade ahead of us was talking smack about another girl, and then they got the girls confused, because they had the same name, and people are pretty stupid, and they just jumped to conclusions. So, oh my God, then they started picking on my other best friend, who was kind of a Beatle buddy. She actually listened to the Beatles too. And, you know, my sister she still is, she's like 3 years older than me. 4 years once September hits. But a lot of these kids remembered my sister. And my sister, she never got into trouble, but she kind of hung out with that group in high school. and she had gotten picked on by some people, and that's when Mom and Dad decided to have us start taking Taekwondo, which didn't last very long, but it lasted long enough that one of her friends she did a demonstration on in front of a bunch of others, because he was like, you can't throw me over your shoulder, you're skinny. My sister was a twig, and she was like teeny tiny, but she grabbed his arm and she threw him over her shoulder. And that kind of got round the entire school. Like, I mean, again, he was a friend. She wasn't, like, trying to hurt him or anything. He volunteered for it because he didn't believe her. But she did that, and word got round the school. So when this one group of kids started picking on my other friend who liked the Beatles, I told them they better knock it off or my sister was going to come back and kick their, you know... their tushes. I did not say that. I have to censor myself. I don't have to. I'm not even monetized yet, but eventually, if I get enough subscribers, I'm going to monetize some of these videos, and so I have to censor myself. But I curse like a sailor, you guys. don't think that I don't. But yeah. So they let up on her a little bit, just because they didn't want my sister coming back. Little did they know, my sister had moved to Springfield and was moving on with her life, but they didn't know that. So I just said she was going to come back here and take you out. My older sister, wait till she comes. She was pretty kick-ass. I'm going to have to bleep that one out. She still is. She still looks out for me a bit. I mean, we're all adults now, so we've kind of figured things out a bit, but I would say she still takes care of me a little bit. Right now I'm just outlining this because I will, not in this video, but I intend to make a sticker out of this to match and put it up on Redbubble to match the paper tiger image that I did. So outlining this is going to make it easier for me when I trace it. And also I'm doing this twice so that when I transfer it onto the rock, I have a tiny bit of muscle memory. Oh, I never got back to what I was saying, why I brought up Mr. Trueblood. Oh my gosh. I was telling a story. Oh, I was going to say, I'm probably wrong, but I thought that crustaceans and spiders were either in the same class or family or order or something, because they had that outer shell. I will look that up and I'll correct myself or clarify in the, not scrolling text, but the text that I put above the videos. And after correcting myself last week, saying, oh, I edit my videos, I left the Witches of the Dawn webcomic thing from the previous video of them. There's, oh, I edited this video. Not very good. Never very well. Very good. You know, at one point I knew when to use well and when to use good. I don't. Nobody pays attention, do they? If someone asks me how I'm doing, I always say I'm doing well. But any other, it's like I've memorized that phrase. In any other context, I'm misusing the terms. Silent here for me. I will have some background. Oh well, by this point you guys are watching the video. You'll already know that there's background music. I might have Brad, or yeah, well I guess I can say his name. I might have Brad, the guy, the dude friend, the one who did the music that I have in the background. I think I might have him re-record that for me and go for about 10 minutes. Because right now what he's done is he did a really good job of finding a place where if I put it together it'll loop. But I kind of want him to record a 10-minute long one for me. Because that's usually what my videos are, but then again, this video is going to go pretty long, so I don't know. We'll see. So I got the idea for Rock Lobster. I'm sure plenty of people out there know the song, if only from the Family Guy episode. But I like to listen to a wide Word of Wednesday breath. I'll spell it. I can't even pronounce English. Why would anyone think that I can pronounce, like, other languages? But, I listen to a wide breath of music. And, whereas I'm really, really burnt the F out on Love Shack, I like quite a few other songs by the B-52s. They've got kind of that garage band, new wave, borderline punky sound, and I really, just bizarre. And I listened to quite a few songs that did not, or at least now in present day, do not get wedding or radio airplay. So one of their songs, which was kind of made popular again for a while by Family Guy, was Rock Lobster. I think it was Family Guy. It was either Family Guy, Futurama, it might have been Futurama. It was one of those Adult Swim shows that was on constantly when I was in college. Before the Tim and Eric show ruined it all. That's my opinion. If you like it, like it. No one's stopping you, but I did not find any of those to be very clever. It was just loud noise and trying to be awkward for the shock value, in my opinion. And shock value alone, unless you're doing something really different, shock value alone is not something that impresses me. Anyone can be stupid or awkward. I do it on a daily basis. So that kind of stuff does. I always say, oh, I really like this, I love that. There's something that I really didn't like. I'm gonna be a little Nancy negative here for a minute. Rock Lobster. I can do that, can't I? As long as you're not playing the song, you can do that, can't you? That's all I know of the lyrics, so it's probably all the lyrics there are, but I think I'm good. I'll just cry fair use. Fair use. I'm reviewing the song. No, I'm not. I'm not making fun of anyone, I'm just making fun of myself. It's one of the... like a lobster. We had to build up a hard exterior shell made of chitin that starts blue and well, no. But no, we had to build up a pretty hard exterior shell in school. So we were a lot like crustaceans, weren't we? Pinching at people. Oh my god, I was a terrible little brat when I was a kid. I used to do the pinching. And I'd go, I'm gonna pinch you. Like a brat. That didn't last very long though, because having older siblings and cousins, we didn't get the crap beat out of us, but we got the threat of it, so we stopped pretty quick. Well, I stopped. I'm like trying to put it on my cousin, because we palled around, but no, it was all me. She didn't do any mean thing like that. So, speaking of when I was growing up, we used to love and have the hots for the actor Eddie Furlong. There's two parts to the story. Sometimes my mom would get Entertainment Weekly, and I would flip through, and when she was done with it, she would let my sister and I, kind of argue over pictures, and we would make Pogs out of them, if anybody remembers what a Pog is. Those are fun, but we couldn't afford to buy them half the time. And anyway, the dollar store ones were kind of cheap anyway, but they were still better. But we used to sit around and we would cut out little circles, and we would tape or glue, no, we would glue the pictures from the magazines onto pieces of cardboard we cut out. And then when we'd play Pogs with each other. But all of us, because that Terminator 2 movie came out, and then there was, I think he was in Pet Sematary 2, and there's a bunch of other movies. Him and Jonathan Taylor, well, not Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Jonathan Brandis, who was in C-Lab. No, Sequest. Sequest. Oh my god, we had the hots for them. But one time I was flipping through the Entertainment Weekly magazine. This should have been a big tip for everyone. And I saw a picture of Katie Lang, but I thought that she was Eddie Furlong, and I was like, oh my god, he's so hot. And she is. For several reasons. I was going somewhere with this. I don't remember where I was going with this. This is why I had to, like, to write out a script, because otherwise I just tell silly stories that no one cares about. What? How did I get on Eddie Furlong? How did I get on that subject? There was gonna be something that... Oh, okay, like, and then years later, like, you know how being a child star can kind of mess you up? And actually, I'm kind of with him on this, to be quite honest, but I guess well, not on the first part, but he got, like, high or was drunk or something and went into some kind of grocery store, and he set free all of the lobsters. I think he got arrested, but hey, man, I'm behind him on that. Those things are just so cruel. Oh my god, you know, just sit there with rubber bands on their hands, shackles on their hands, and they're waiting for someone to pick them out to boil them alive. It's just so crazy that we still do these things. It's just... That's my soapbox on lobsters, but I thought that was just hilarious. Like, I don't think he's vegetarian or anything. I think he just felt bad for them and was on drugs, and he was like, let these lobsters go. I thought that was hilarious. I really messed up on the tail here. Okay, but anyway, I'm pretty much done with the... God, I just messed it up. This thing... Look at that. I need to just get rid of this, but I don't like to throw anything away because I'm a pack rat. Okay, so this is going to be my reference drawing. How long in are we? Oh god, we're half hour in. I might split this video up. I don't think so, but I think that's a cute little lobster. I'm going to color him. I've already got the color combo figured out. So this part of the video is actually going to be a little different. So I will be back in a few minutes. Maybe I'll time lapse the latter part of the video. I don't know. Maybe this will just be a long video. But there's my lobster. I am the lobster. Goo goo gachoo. It's Cheech and was it back in the back in the USA? Oh, there's some Cheech Marin movie. Awakening? Oh, I'll find it and I'll put it. I'll iCard it. I'll put it up in the upper right-hand corner of what movie. I was like, Rude Awakenings. That was it. Oh my god. Anything with Cheech and... Well, when Cheech was still doing the whole funny hippie thing. I don't know how well that movie would hold up now, but... Or maybe it was Born in the East LA. It was like they're Born in the East LA or Rude Awakenings. I had to look it up. But anyway, I'll link that. And he did that whole I am the lobster thing. It was funny. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Hey guys, I'm coming back and just recording this audio over the ending screen. No, not the ending screen, but the ending picture. I obviously decided to make this a two-part video, and the two-video thing isn't going to be something that I do all the time. I know I've kind of been doing it lately, but I just felt like I really need to get back to Dark Horse next week. So yeah. Question of the week, what do you think of painting on rocks and doing, sharing your art with people in that manner? I'm not going to do a whole bunch of them. I'm only going to do 3 rocks that I found, and then I'm calling it a day because I'm a crap painter. So, confessions of a crap artist. Anyway, thank you for listening. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe. Do the bell thing. Peace and love. Fare you well. And keep on trucking.